Hello, welcome back to the Bookcase of Doom. In case you're new here, I'm Jane, I'm from Ukraine, and here I talk about books. Sometimes I'll do a little bit of art, and even more seldomly, I will talk a little bit about my own writing. I want to start a little series on my channel where I'll be reading you chapter by chapter some classics of the Ukrainian literary canon. I want to start with a novel called The Tiger Trappers, or The Tiger Catchers, or The Hunter and the Hunted by Ivan Bagryany. It was written at the beginning of the 20th century, and I'm not going to tell you in my own words about this novel and the writer because I have the novel right here. It's English translation that was done and released by Macmillan, and I'm just going to read it to you. I have my own Ukrainian copy somewhere. I'm gonna bring it to show you later in the next video, but let's just start. You can listen to this introduction to find out about the author and the book and figure out whether or not you want to continue on with the series. And yeah, I hope you will maybe find some new interesting literature for yourself. The Hunters and the Hunted. Introduction. The author of this novel, Ivan Bagryany, was born in 1907 in the province of Poltava. His father was a bricklayer. His mother came of peasant stock. After attending a grammar school and graduating from an industrial trade school, Bagryany entered the Institute of Fine Arts in Kiev. He completed his course of study but failed to gain a diploma because he was suspected of political unreliability. His first poems and short stories began appearing in Soviet Ukrainian periodicals in 1925. He was a member of the literary group Mars, the workshop of the revolutionary word, which stood aloof from the official literary currents sponsored by the party. All members of Mars became victims of the purge of Ukrainian literature in the early 1930s. Several of Bagrany's collections of short stories, his long poem Ave Maria, and the historical novel The Little Cliff were published between 1926-32. His novel was severely attacked by the communist critics and condemned as nationalist and counter-revolutionary. In 1932, Bagryany was arrested. After spending 11 months in an isolation cell in prison, he was sentenced to 5 years penal servitude. He served his sentence in Bamlag, a concentration camp on the Baikal-Amur main line. In 1936, fearing that his sentence might, as frequently happened, be renewed, he escaped. For 2 years, he was a free man, though pursued by the NKVD, which seized him in 1938. While he was on a visit to his mother in Ukraine. He was rearrested and spent 2 years and 4 months in a prison in Kharkiv awaiting trial. Finally, because of ill health, he was released, but compelled to live in his hometown under the surveillance of the local police. During the Second World War, Bagryany made his way to the West. Since 1945, he has lived in Germany, unable to emigrate to the United States or Canada because he is suffering from tuberculosis. He continued writing after the war. In 1945, he wrote a short pamphlet, Why I Don't Want to Go Home, which was translated into several languages. Among his other works are the novels The Orchard of Gethsemane and The Ring of Fire, a collection of poems, The Golden Boomerang, and a play, The General. In 1943, Bagryany took part in the Ukrainian resistance movement, and today he is the leader of the Ukrainian Revolutionary Democratic Party, largely consisting of Soviet Ukrainian refugees, dedicated to the idea of an independent and democratic Ukraine. University of Toronto, George S. N. Lucky. Well, this edition was published in 1957. Ivan Bagryany died in 1963, and I suppose he never got to go home. And now I'm going to read you the synopsis of the book. The novel of the famous Ukrainian writer Ivan Bagryany, The Hunters and the Hunted, or Tiger Trappers, tells about the terrible pages of the history of Ukrainian people, the Stalinist repressions of the 30s of the 20th century. This is a story about a man who, like Bagryany, escaped from being imprisoned, and he finds safety with this family who live in a very remote location, and they are tiger trappers. It's a story of him escaping repressions, of them all finding friendship and love. It's found family in a way, and it's just beautiful. So if that sounds interesting to you, stay tuned for the next video. I'm going to release it pretty soon, so subscribe. I'll see you soon.